So we're back out here again today. You guys just missed a really fun morning here. So we finally got a new battery cable end on this battery. This is the one that's been loose that we've been fighting this whole time. So we got that taken care of. And then we had an airlock in the fuel system. We had to replace a fuel line yesterday that broke. And I'm not joking when I said we had probably an hour in getting this thing to reprime. And it was from having to replace that filter, and then that line down there had been loosened, creating an airlock at the pump. But we got it going. It's been idling now for maybe 20 seconds before I picked my phone up. And we're already up to almost 60 PSI, so that new compressor is working right away at idle. So that is a really good sign. Sage, we've already got almost 60 PSI. What has it been, a minute and a half? I idle the whole time, no throttle. So this is working really good. I'm really happy to see that. So we're gonna get it aired up, and then we're gonna start figuring out what's going on with that front tank. From there, it's adjust brakes and grease it, and this thing's ready to try to move. So we've had the bus running again. One of the problems we ran into is we're losing prime now. We know that this has been leaking up here, the seal that goes to this gasket. So Sage ran in town to get a new gasket. We're also picking up some fuel. We've never actually put any in the tank. So while he's off getting fuel in that new gasket, I'm going to take this pump back off the motor. The air compressor is leaking around the bottom of the gear train here. Now when I installed it, I just used the gasket they sent with it. That's all I put on there. And now we're getting an oil leak below it. So I'm going to go ahead and pull it back off, and I'm going to use some RTV on there to try to get it to seal up. Almost nothing had to come back off. I took the air inlet and outlet out. I'm going to take this line out too, just so I have some more room. This is the only line that's tight. But I noticed yesterday in someone's video, so someone had left a comment that I really shouldn't be using pliers to take lines on and off. And these aren't just like normal channel locks. I don't know if any of you guys have never seen these before. These are the Nipex plier wrenches. So when you tighten, pull the handle against them, these two jaws move flat against each other and grab a line. These are actually some of the best wrenches I've ever used. I use them for all kinds of hydraulic lines, air lines, anything like this that doesn't need to go really tight, you know. They work amazing. A lot better than a normal adjustable wrench. They don't slip on you, they don't ever get loose. You know, as long as you're holding the handle, they're always the size they need to be. Yeah, if you guys don't have any of these are worth throwing in your toolbox. So to get this line to come off here, it's just that little bit too tight to be able to do by hand. Once that's off anyway, I'm going to slide this back the rest of the way. I'm going to clean that whole surface up on both sides, throw some RTV on there, put this back on, and go again. This thing is building air pressure amazingly now, and it's recovering in no time with this new compressor, so I'm pretty happy to see that. Now if we can get this fuel prime issue taken care of, that'd be awesome. It'll run for a little bit, and then it just keeps trying to suck this filter dry, and I think it's sucking air around this lip because we were already having problems before with that sealing when we were out here. There we go, compressor's off. I gotta slide it back just a hair more, get that gasket out of there, and then we gotta take care of. So we got the compressor mounted back up there, resealed it. You could clearly see where it was leaking on the gasket on the bottom part of it, so a little bit of RTV, we'll let that set up, and we should be good on that. Just getting all the lines reconnected to this compressor here, and then by that time, it's probably gonna be about lunchtime. Hopefully Sage will be back here soon. I sent him to go get, like I said, filters and diesel, so top it off and maybe go get a couple more gallons of diesel. Oh, one tooth off. There we go. This on there. But it's going back together. Hopefully we won't have a leak on it now. It was leaking pretty good before. Down there, but it was definitely coming right out of the bottom of the air compressor where it goes into the gear train. So while I'm sitting here waiting for him to get back, we're not reading any air pressure on this front gauge here. So I went ahead and took the air line off to it. I just want to verify that we are not getting air to the gauge. If we're getting air out of this hose, then I'll go grab a new air gauge for it. This is the original air gauge for the bus. So, I mean, on Dad's bus, I know it works. I'm pretty sure on Sage's other bus, it works. But I'm not going to put a ton of faith in the original 1947 air gauge working because we're not getting any air out of it. As far as I can tell, we're getting air through the rest of the bus, I believe. You know, I still have to crawl under the front and look at that, but we'll fire it back up and I'll see if I'm getting air out of this airline before we go much farther. If we aren't, then I'll start tracing this airline. All right, we think we got the leak on that fuel filter fixed up. Got the compressor mounted back on it. We just ran to the store, got some diesel, threw some more in the tanks, just in case we were getting low. We're probably at about 7 gallons to each tank. We don't know which one it's pulling from right now. But this thing did run quite a bit when we were here the last time. We don't know how much diesel's in. Now we're going to sit and watch, see if we have any more oil leak out of that compressor, and hopefully this thing won't shut off in about 45 seconds and lose prime. Well, damn it. All right.
You've got air in some line.
Alright, we're going to see if that fixed it. I think the feed line into the filter housings there was a little bit loose. I cranked down on it some more. Doing better than it was before. We're now having throttle response out of it. 1, 2, and 3 all have air in them. Tank 4 does not, and that's the farthest forward front one. 1, 2, and 3 only do brakes. Tank 4 runs the air wipers up here, the air horn. If this had the air antenna on it, it would. And it runs the air governor in the back. So everything else has to be ran off that accessory drive. Now that we have a good compressor, one of the first things I saw today is we are just building air pressure and it doesn't want to stop. But we have no air supply to the governor in the back because that's all ran off the auxiliary tank according to the air diagrams that I've got. So I'm trying to get that figured out right now to see what's going on with the air system. So this T right here underneath the brake valve is where the air comes in to the treadle valve, and this other line right here is what branches off and feeds that regulator. So we're not getting hardly any air out of this thing. So we're gonna take this line off, blow from the other side back, and make sure that it's not obstructed or plugged, because this did sit off for a while. Make sure that something didn't try to build its home in there. And that is why we aren't getting our air. Just try to rule out the simple side of it first. So right there is the one end of this line. I'm gonna have Sage blow into it with an air gun. And I got my finger here on the other side, and it's disconnected from the valve. And I'm barely getting a breeze out of it, so that line is obstructed in the middle. You can stop. So that air line needs to be redone. And that one goes to the tank.
Yeah, you can blow them into the tank. I think I have the valve open.
Yep.
On the front.
Yep.
So this goes to the auxiliary tank.
So we are good from there back.
Yep.
That's good to know. So all we need to do now is remake the line from there to this valve here.
Can you run a wire through that?
I would want to just replace it.
Yeah, as much pain as this has been, we'll just replace it.
Trying to fight it, it's going to be...
So we ran into town and we picked up a new piece of hose here. This is DOT approved airline with DOT approved fittings. So we've got that ran from over here, right there, through the bulkhead. And it goes right there into the valve. So I gotta tighten up this fitting here still. And then we'll be done. So get this tightened up in there. I don't think we're gonna test it tonight. It's getting kind of late. We're starting to pick up tools. We do have rain moving in tomorrow, but it won't be till about 3 o'clock. I'm really hoping by 3 tomorrow we'll be on the road. So if this works and gets that auxiliary tank air feed into it, then all we should really have left for tomorrow is to sorry, I'm trying to work here. Working and talking doesn't always come easy. Is finish adjusting the brakes, grease the bus. We got a couple lights that we are messing with that we need to get figured out. They're not working. I know Sage started messing with them today. We don't have headlights right now, so we need to get that figured out because we're supposed to be driving back in a bunch of rain, so we're gonna want some lights on the front of it, which I need to put this headlight bucket back in, but it's a really convenient handhold right now. But I'm gonna get this bolt tightened up, then we're just gonna pick up tools, and I think that's gonna be it for the night. Got those airlines all tightened up. Wrench slipped and I cut my finger, so that's gonna be fun when I wash my hand off at brake clean later and forget that I did that. But that's gonna be the end of today. It's time to put up tools and head back to the hotel, and we'll finish this thing tomorrow. So I know somebody was asking about some of the stuff that's out here. I'll see if I can get Bobby to give me a tour before we leave about what some of this stuff is. I know those cabs are a pair of, I believe, 55 Ford pickups. There's another bigger truck there. I think there's a Model T over there. Some tractors. A couple of John Deeres over here. If I remember right, I think those are like a 5.3 liter 2-cylinder. If those are the motors I'm thinking of from John Deere. Some more tractors. There's a covered wagon over there. Is that your new car, Sage?
It's my new car, man. As soon as I get done with this bus,
You gonna take that all the way back with you?
gonna float some cash to Bobby and buy this baby and drive it home.
I'll get it fixed up for you.
Woo!
I think this one has been here for a while, judging by the fact that there are actually trees growing through it. This C60 Chevy. I actually want that. Looks like somebody's shot at the back of this before, so that's cool. I actually kind of dig the look of this when they've got two cabs back to back on the frame. I kind of want to put something together like that. A bunch more tractors sitting back there under the lean-to. Probably more vehicles back there in the taller grass. It's a gas pump. There's some cool stuff. I really dig this little welder generator trailer. That's the doghouse for the big window cab. The bed for it's over there. Big window cab's that one. It's on the one on the frame over there is a small window. I'll see if I can give her a tour, maybe give us some more info on what some of this stuff actually is.